In this video, we are revisiting a bull who has had some serious issues, scaring the absolute life out of Graeme, attending to a cow we can't help, and looking at some fantastic cow's feet. This is the Hoof GP Clips.
Yeah, anyway. I cannot find a bell anywhere, and this is causing, well, that's one issue. Don't worry, folks. Cage is open, but the beast is asleep. Anyway. Sorry. Yeah, I can't find a belt anyway. I've been looking for a belt for 2.5, 3 days now, and she says, sorry, my wife, says she doesn't know where they are, but she must do because I've got about 6 or 7 of them, and I've checked every drawer, I've checked everywhere. And look, like Graeme says it's good because it shows I've lost some weight, but, yeah. Anywho, never mind. Oh, what a shot! Cheeky. Right, let's find a belt. I was hoping there was a bungee cord, but there is not. It's not stupid if it works. Haha. Oh! It's starting to get darker now. Here in Scotland during the winter months. In the summertime it's great because it's light at 3 in the morning and still light at 1 the next morning, if that makes sense. We only get a couple hours of darkness. But the flip side of that is when winter starts to come and winter is starting to rear its ugly head, the mornings get a lot later and the afternoons get a lot darker. In the depth of winter, it'll still be dark after 9 o'clock and get dark again just after 3 p.m. So that is on its way, which is a bit
disheartening.
Disheartening?
What?
Depressing!
Depressing.
Anyway, somebody sent us this cup ages ago. It's cool, isn't it? I think I like it most because Graeme's not on it. Like, Alejandro. It's so funny when you look through the comments because you're referred to as Alejandro, Norman, cameraman Graeme, and the Welsh one. So we are on our way to the 2 farms today. We're quite close to this. Shut the door, by the way. We normally do about 80 cows every second Tuesday. And we do 80 cows probably every Tuesday actually, but every second Tuesday we're at these 2 farms. And they're really good. It's one of the top performing farms in Europe just now actually. They're producing 45.5 litres I think it is per cow on average, which is monstrous. Is it 45 or is it more than that? Could be more than that. Anyway, at least 45 litres per cow per day. Imagine that sitting on your breakfast table. Per cow! It's mad, isn't it? And that, like, some people might think, oh, that's pushing cows or whatever like that. And I would understand why you would think that, because that would make sense. But what it actually is a bunch of incredibly healthy cows really doing well because they're so healthy. This is one of our lowest lameness farms that we go to. And we've gone to it for the last 14 or 15 years, I think. Maybe slightly less, I'm not sure. But I've gone to it for an awful long time. And when they started out, and this is nothing to do with me, by the way, it's to do with the farmer. When they started out, their lameness wasn't fantastic, but now it really is good. And they're still focused on improving it all the time, despite it being well below average. As in, below the average lameness, which is a good thing. I like this farm a lot, I really do. We used to trim here at 2:30 in the morning, and every morning the wind would be blowing and howling a gale because the place that we trimmed, it was open-sided but it had a roof over it. I swear it was almost colder working inside than it would be outside, and when the rain came in it would just smash you in the side of the face. So having this huge new shed is a total luxury that is very welcome. I just meant come and push the thing.
Wait, did you?
Yeah, didn't you? It's fine though.
Oh.
It's fine. The people like it. The people like it. The people like Alejandro, don't they? Alejandro. That's a good song.
They still get heard that.
Yeah.
Oh. Hard pushing this up this hill, isn't it?
It's not too bad, look at it.
Ah, I suppose,
It's
yeah.
hard to get there, look. Just talking to one of the guys who works here, and unfortunately they're having a bit of a lameness episode after me telling you guys in the pickup that the feet here are fantastic. They still are fantastic, but a lot of farms go through little periods of lameness. So for instance, if there's been really, really hot weather, cows aren't good at sweating, so they stand up to let the heat dissipate, and all that extra standing can lead to problems in their feet. And we have had that, and it doesn't actually show for about 6 or 7 or 8 weeks after the period of hot weather, so that could be what's happening. Kind of hope that's what's happening, because although it can be extremely sore for them, it's pretty easily fixed. So fingers crossed, it's a thing called a sole fracture, and that happens when cows stand for too long and their feet actually fracture apart. Lovely. I have to apologise for the noise in here, by the way. The sawdust beder, that's that machine that you can see all the stuff coming out of. It's quite noisy. You just see here, this is really typical of what we're trimming here. So a little bit of overgrowth here on the dew claws, a little tiny bit on here. You can actually see this blackness here. I would guess that is actually a little hangover from the last time she was trimmed, which would be probably 3 months ago or 4 months ago. These cows are trimmed 3 or 4 times a year, and it makes a massive, massive difference to them. It really, really does. On to the next one. Slightly more overgrowth on this one. Whip out the knife and we just get that model a little bit deeper. Same on the other side. Oh! Caught her foot there, that wouldn't hurt her, don't worry. Code brown. And then reduce the size of this dew claw a little bit. Just need a tiny little tickle. That's really windy in it. These are the types of farms that we absolutely love trimming on. Yes, fixing cows' feet is great and it's really satisfying. But getting through lots of cows like this and just making that little difference to them all and keeping them in tip-top shape are easily the days that we like the most. Oh, although it wouldn't go very well if I didn't shut the gate. We've definitely been known on occasion to forget to shut gates and end up chasing cows round and round in circles. Not today though. wasn't walking beautifully. And that, I don't know if I would say she was lame, but she wasn't walking fantastically. This is literally the perfect foot. We can't take any height off that. If I trimmed this with a grinder, it would look great, but it would be detrimental to the cow. And that's obviously the last thing that we want. So we're not going to trim it with the grinder at all. Just going to model it out nice and wide. I'm going to check that we don't go too thin. And move on to the next foot. I'm going to check up in between her feet though. She maybe just doesn't walk beautifully, that's maybe all. And again, this foot is exactly the same. If you come right down here, we'll be able to see it's totally level. Beautiful. Go round. That's 2 in a row. Oh, by the way, the merch store is back open. Lots of you have spotted it, and I think I said it in a video last week maybe. But the merch store is back open right now. It was shut for about 7 weeks while we changed fulfillment partners. But everything is a go, and almost everything is in stock, including the code brown hoodies. Right, that is lovely. Then you come around here, and that's extra bit of growth here. Look. Really big overhang on the inside of our foot there. It's weird, I find myself saying this all the time, that we don't really trim this axial wall and then I'll trim it just to completely disprove that rule. But if you go too far here, it's not a question of you might make that cow lame. It's a question, it's a statement, you have made that cow lame. So you cannot ever, ever over trim here because it is almost impossible to get back right. But that is beautiful. Wait, if you watch her from behind when she walks out here, you'll see what I mean. She wasn't walking beautifully. But it might have been just because of the race, or it might be because of the conformation of her legs. You see what I mean? That back left leg kind of walks slightly squint. But like I say, I think it is the leg and not her foot.
Struggling to walk because of this back left foot. As you can see, it's very swollen. She won't put it down properly. Come on, girl. Come on.
So this is actually one of the cows that Andy, the fella that works here, told me was lame, but she's slightly different because she's swollen. So she's either got foul in the foot or dermatitis. And I'm hoping it's dermatitis. But I think it's foul in the foot.
What is foul in the foot?
That. See how up in between her feet is all swollen and, well, you can see the red stuff coming out, can't you? So the reason I was hoping it was dermatitis is we can't really do anything about this.
How?
Because it's an infection, so it needs antibiotics and things like that, and we are not allowed to administer them. All we can do is model it out as widely as we can, which is what I'm just about to do here. So we'll try and get this a really wide model so that the dirt disperses from the area much more easily and it stays clean, and that way we can wash it out as well, but it doesn't do much good obviously. I'm walking over to that hose to pick it up, genuinely thinking, don't soak them, it's too cold.
I was thinking, please don't soak me, it's too cold.
So you can see it all kind of, hold on. So right up in between our claws there at the heel, it's all burst open, and that is classic foul in the foot. and incredibly sore.
Is foul on the foot make it burst open, or was it burst open and that's what gave it foul on the foot?
No, there would be a little tiny cut, and then the bacteria called fusco necrophobo, blah 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 blah, massive long word, gets into that cut, and then it bursts it wide open, and it's horrifically sore for the cow. You see this cow's got shackles on here. These chains keep her feet together because she's done the splits. And it's most likely that she's done the splits because she's got that foul in the foot, so she's been walking cautiously like, and then just slipped. So a lot of time you see a cow that's got these shackles on, which is a good thing because it stops the ligaments flaying apart again. But a lot of time it's happened because of that. Right. Actually, I'm going to go and ask the farmer if he wants us to spray it, if he's got anything for it, because obviously our crush is better than theirs. So he has asked me to spray it while she's in, which makes a lot of sense to be fair. So they give us this antibiotic that they've been prescribed. We'll actually wrap it up to keep it in place as well for him. He said he's going to jag her later today as well with painkillers and and antibiotics, which is his totally his kind of wheelhouse, not mine. But she was already on it as well, so double course will do no harm, I would imagine.
Did you know, say before, you'd quite like a wee course that you could like?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I'd love to be able to do a course where we could do things like that, because you could help so many cows. But antibiotic usage is no joke. Like you do need to be careful how many they use. So that's why we can't do it. I understand completely why we can't do everything.
How long does that take to heal?
It's difficult to say, to be honest. Depends how well her medication works. Depends the environment of the cow. So she's going to be, he already told me she's going to be separated out so that this can't transfer to any other cows, which makes a lot of sense. But she could be.
Oh wait, sorry, can other cows catch that?
Yeah, it's contagious, yes. But the other cow would also need to have a cut in her foot to get it. So that's why it doesn't just go crazy through it, well, through a herd, which is easy for me to say. But if the cows had lots of cuts in their feet, it would. It does. Sorry, Graeme, what's wrong with it? Foul in the foot 3. Best advice. Her other foot is pretty much perfect though. But we will still trim it out. Very blunt knife, that one. Must have hit a stone. Right. So we've just done about 40 cows here. We're about 2 that were lame, I think. So not bad at all. And now we're going to, just a couple of minutes drive from this farm. And this farmer...
You got a big lump on your head. Right.
And this farmer owns both farms. So we don't really need to wash the crush down because there's traffic between the two farms all the time. So it's not a biohazard, but we just like to make sure that it is clean because it looks terrible driving along the road if it's dirty. Plus, it just makes it easier to clean at the end of the day as well.
Oh, I didn't care what happened to me. I didn't know I was moving. I felt like I was drunk on a boat, man, for a minute there.
The automatic thing, you just press it. Beep, beep, beep. Now all we've got to do is get this crush onto the trailer, load it up nicely, and then push it straight back off at our second farm. Get set up and start trimming once again. Again, at this farm, the feet are also really, really good. Hopefully, case in point. Yes, case in point. Pretty much perfect, actually.
We're not going to trim any height off that, we'll just model it out. And modelling out does do quite a lot of good for these cows. They've got a thing called the flexor tuberosity. It's basically a little spike of bone that sticks down off the back of the bone that is inside this hoof capsule, and it attaches to this tendon down in here. But because it sticks down a little bit, normally the grass would be, normally she'd be out walking on the grass, but because she's not walking on the grass, her feet can't sink into the concrete, can it? So that little flexor tuberosity, a little bit of bone, starts to bruise the corium, and that's why you get ulcers. This foot is just the same as well, looks lovely. So you can see this knife is actually already starting to get some scratches in it and things. This was brand new, well not brand new, but newly sharpened at the last farm, and hopefully you saw that, how smooth the pieces of hoof horn come off. But it doesn't take long at all for the sharpness to go off them completely.
Oh, I noticed he didn't even look to see if I'd finished with my foot there. Did you see that?
If you look at this cow's ankle, this is always a really, really positive sign. So you see there's a sort of bluey, grey tinge to it. That's because these cows are being foot bathed really regularly, and that really, really helps them to have good feet. Code brown. I'm seeing a theme here today, a real theme. Code browns everywhere. Code brown, code brown, code brown. And that's a bit, yeah, well, I'll get rid of it. I don't want to take any height off there though, because if I take any height off there, she'll walk with even more pressure on here. So we'll leave that high, but we did get rid of the big flap of this hoof horn. Now that is not a pretty foot, is it? It's not fantastic, but it is perfectly functional, and that's exactly what we want. She hasn't got it anymore, but she's had dermatitis in here. That's why there's a little bit of callousation there. Again, this foot is looking fantastic. Just a nice wide model on here. We're not going to take any length or any height off the main part of the foot. Woman, what have you been eating today or last night? She's been on the Guinness, hasn't she? It's actually slightly higher there, I think, so I'll just adjust that. I am going to use the grinder though, because this dew claw is sticky-ooty, and we don't like sticky-ooty dew claws. Look, it's really pointy and overgrown. Now that in itself is... See that cow? That white cow?
She heard you.
As soon as I started speaking about it, she stopped it. But yeah, we don't like sticky-ooty dew claws. Sticky-ooty dew claws, sticky-ooty dew claws, sticky-ooty dew claws, sticky-ooty dew claws. No, it is a bit of a tongue twister. So them being overgrown in themselves isn't a real issue. They're not going to go lame or anything like that. But they do attract more dirt, and dirt is just bad. It could start dermatitis, it could be a place for them to catch on something if they're long. They could smack off concrete and have a little cut. During this time of the year, you quite regularly find cows with in there because the dew claws aren't clean enough. Just a slight little bit of overgrowth on this one, which will only take a second.
What stops overgrowth?
So it sheds away. So like, see that little bit of white there? That's got pith. Yes, Graeme.
I guess so.
Well done, Alejandro. So pith. So in the wild, their feet will dry out a lot more, so they'll shed away a lot more. So nothing stops overgrowth. So you will get cows or elk or anything like that with really, really overgrown feet in the wild if they've had particularly wet years, because the feet don't shed quite the same. So you still get problems in the wild, obviously. What do you think happens to the lame ones in the wild, Graeme?
Predator will get them.
A predator will get them, yes. That's why cows hide their lameness so much, because if you're lame and at the back of the herd, you become prey. Right. Alejandro has been busy in the kitchen. We'll get this coffee, Craig. So we might as well taste the fruits of his labour. How did making coffee go the last day, Graeme?
Aye, one of the day. I made it too weak, and we never had a spoon. Craig didn't late for us because he was away, and I went to tip the.
So it's your fault, but really...
No, it's my fault because I took my own spoon home with me.
I'm taking 100% of the blame. But if you left the spoon, tip it in, a lump fell out.
A lump! A lump. I ate my spoon. I didn't. I ate my coffee with a spoon. Thank you. How's life then, Graeme?
Never give a cup of coffee that in. I've made that bang on.
You've made it bang on.
Aye.
You don't drink coffee though, do you?
I do drink coffee. I love coffee.
So why do you always drink tea at work?
At work I like tea because it's more thirst quenching than a cup of coffee.
Cysgewin's going well. I've had something really, really annoying happen though. We don't show it because it causes problems if we show too much of what we're doing on Cysgewin online. But anyway, it's a different type of problem. So obviously cost matters a lot. Cysgewin that's the houses that we're renovating, and they're costing between 1.1 and 1.2 million pounds, which is about $1.5 million. That is every penny that we've got. In fact, we don't even have it. We're literally earning it as we spend it. So it's not like it's sitting there. Yeah. But we heard the other day, we're deliberately trying to use local contractors because it's good for the area. We live in a really rural area, and because of that, we find it good to use local contractors. Then we heard the other day that somebody who's going to be, was going to be working on it, they're not now, they don't know that yet, but they don't know that. But yeah, anyway, somebody who was going to be working at Cysgewin had said to somebody who's very close to us, that we know very well and trust, that because it's the Hoof GP, they're just going to charge them a huge amount of money and make as much as they can off the job. Why not just appreciate the work? That is so frustrating. Does that annoy you?
I think that's kind of ignorant.
Well, it'll annoy him more now because he's not getting the job. But that is seriously frustrating. It's disappointing. That sounds like a grown-up thing to say, but it is massively disappointing when you hear things like that.
Is that one of the things that, again, somebody could say that and be like, oh, Hoof GP always give him a hoorah, hi Bill. Can I say hoorah?
Aye.
Hi Bill. That's a laugh.
No, because they were telling somebody else. No, because the person they told it to. Don't know how to explain that. I know for a fact that they were going to be doing it. Yeah, I can't explain how I know that because it would then let them know who told me. I don't want that. Anywho, danger!
Yeah, man.
Always got to be ready for burglars and robbers. I really am helping you in life. Those are called intrusive thoughts, and I have them all the time. Right, ladies.
It's okay, you're okay, you're okay, you're okay. Like, just panicking, wanting to get away from me. I'm not going to hurt you. And let you lot out as well. So all of these have just been trimmed, haven't you, girlies? Off you trot. Massive, big, beautiful shed, this one.
Look how lovely and light it is in here. And they've got brushes to scratch on. Come on! Come on! There's always a few slow ones at the end, and one lying down having a sleep. I feel bad waking them up, but that's not your home. Come on, up you get. Good girl. So, my next door neighbour, who has that lovely big bull that we've really been struggling with, has asked me to go along and see him again. We've seen this bull maybe 3 times I think on the channel so far, and we've really been struggling. The vet has also seen him twice, and we decided just to give him time and a bit of a chance, a bit of a last chance actually. So I'm hoping that when I go along here he's doing well, because if not, it's not going to be a very nice update. We like happy endings on this channel, not the sad ones that this could be. Anyway, let's go. Open sesame. Oh, it's warm in here. It's Saturday today. Just watched the kids play football, and Kier won 2-1, and he basically scored a corner. So really, really chuffed.
The corner was perfectly placed, and the other team scored an own goal with it. So we'll take it as a goal. I know for a fact that he is. When I say that this farm's a neighbour, by the way, I don't mean a neighbour by a long way. I mean literally like a quarter of a mile along the road from my house. So it literally takes me about a minute and a half to get there.
We first saw this bull about 2 months ago, and as you can see from these images, he was in incredible pain. I don't think we've ever had a bull on this channel suffering quite as much as he was. He wouldn't even let his foot touch the ground, never mind put weight on it. So we got him into the crush eventually, lifted his foot, and that's when things really escalated. The inside of his hoof started pouring out. At least we knew what the problem was, but it was far worse than it first appeared. This is what came out of his hoof capsule. No wonder he was in so much pain. And just because he's a big, muscular bull doesn't mean his pain threshold is any higher than ours. Bulls try to hide their pain, but this was overwhelming for him. Imagine that happening to your own foot. We put 2 blocks on his good claws to lift the bad one completely off the ground. We wrapped it up and we let him out. But even then he was still struggling to touch the ground. I was hopeful we'd see some progress on our next visit. When we returned though, it took a big effort to get him back in the crush, but we did manage it. His bandage was still in place, and underneath was a festering mess. Believe it or not, I was relatively happy with what I saw. It meant things were moving in the right direction, but clearly he was still in a huge amount of pain. This was the last time we saw him, and now, 2 months later, we're back. Honestly, when I left him then, I wasn't feeling positive at all.
It's rare that we get beaten. Really, really rare that we get beaten. But we do get beaten. You just have to try and learn from it and try and get something positive from it for our sort of benefit.
Oh, it's windy.
And here we are back on farm, and here he is, putting weight through that back right foot. He still has his blocks in place, which is an achievement in itself. He is clearly not walking perfectly, but walking he is, and that in itself is also a great achievement. I didn't hold much hope for this big guy, but now he is well on the way to recovery. And yes, he does have some way to go, and I have a feeling we'll be back here soon to lift his other foot, as he's now putting too much pressure through it, and I'm worried that it too is becoming sore. This is a lesson. Never give up. I had just about lost all hope for this Simmental bull, but as we can see, hope is not lost.